A quick recap on the foldable smartphone and the Galaxy S10. And as if they weren't expensive enough, iPhones could get even more expensive. Stay tuned for details. Alright, we don't have to talk about this, okay?
Okay.
Let's just get into the news, shall we? So, stuff happened in the last month, including the reveal of the first foldable smartphone. No, not this one, for sure.
It's down. Structural integrity is still important.
And no, it's not that one either. And in fact, the first foldable smartphone you can actually purchase, priced at $1,300, is the Royal Flex Spy. And the device pretty much says it all. It almost screams, "I was designed to beat Samsung to the world's first title." I mean, look at that. It requires force to bend and unbend, feels like it will break, and runs terrible, buggy software. Doesn't seem convenient at all. So what about Samsung? Well, they showed a functioning prototype, but not the final design in their developer conference. It already looks a lot better than the Flex Spy. I wonder if the actual secondary display will be a bit bigger than this. I also expect the bezels to be smaller on the real deal, which is supposed to launch in the first half of 2019, and for 1 million units of it to be sold. Now let's talk about the Galaxy S10, which by the way now is 4 devices: S10 Lite, regular S10, S10 Plus, and S10 5G. By the way, here are some leaked screen protectors. The S10 will adopt the Infinity O design, which is a hole in the display for the camera. Samsung will launch the A8s in December, and it's supposed to have almost the same design, so stay tuned for that. Some people said, "Oh look, the chin is fat." They also say the iPhones have no chin. Well, if you put them side by side, you'll see that both are the same size, but the Galaxy S10 has no side bezels, unlike the iPhone. So it makes you think it has a chin, while in fact it doesn't. So the first 3 S10s will be revealed at the same time, possibly at the Mobile World Congress in February. They will have 1, 2, or 3 rear cameras respectively. But the 4th device, the S10 5G, could get revealed later, and it could have 6 cameras in total. 4 rear cameras and 2 front ones. Some reports hint that it will have a whopping 12 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. Well, I'm not sure why 12 gigs of RAM. At the moment, Android doesn't need that massive amount of RAM, which could make app developers not care about optimizing their apps, which will have a bad impact on smartphones with less RAM. And it is unclear whether the 1 terabyte of storage is all internal, or is it something like that model of the Note 9, 512 internal and 500 of SD card storage. We'll have to wait and see. Now, name a company that doesn't offer more storage with micro SD cards and sells overpriced phones? Exactly. Why? Because their overpriced iPhones are about to get even more overpriced. At least for Americans. So the president of the US wants to impose tariffs on China's exports to the States and wants iPhones to be manufactured in America. At the moment, the majority of iPhones are manufactured in China by the Taiwanese manufacturer Foxconn. Why? Because according to Apple, they can't do this in America without raising their prices from 20 up to 35% because of the more expensive labor and stuff. But Trump says the tariffs could be 10 or 25%, and that he could make it 10% and the people could stand that very easily. So what could Apple do? Maybe they could get around that by manufacturing iPhones somewhere else in Asia that is still cheap but is not China. However, the trillion-dollar company didn't become a trillion-dollar company without the huge profits they make from their overpriced products. So why don't they just price their products reasonably and appeal to more customers? Let's see if Apple fans will still be willing to pay an extra $300 for their iPhones. And I think they will. So let me know what you think about that down in the comments, and if you want to see more tech news, consider subscribing and trigger the notifications bell. Thanks Tom for watching, and I'll see you soon.